Hello everyone, John here with another important political update from the UK and Europe. Today, we're diving into a critical meeting between Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Italian Premier Giorgia Meloni. Despite their contrasting political views, both leaders are uniting over the shared goal of curbing illegal migration and dealing with the complexities of international relations. Starmer's visit to Rome signals a significant shift in how the UK addresses migration, and it's part of his broader strategy to reset Britain's role in Europe post-Brexit. There's a lot to unpack, so stay tuned and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth political coverage. A new partnership, Starmer and Meloni, join forces to tackle migration. Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who leads the centre-left Labour Party, has made tackling the migration crisis a top priority since taking office. As part of this effort, Starmer has turned to Italy's Premier Giorgia Meloni, a far-right leader known for her tough stance on immigration. The two leaders may seem like unlikely allies, but they share a common mission: reducing the number of migrants making dangerous sea crossings in flimsy boats. Italy has long been on the front lines of Europe's migration crisis, and Meloni's government has implemented strict policies to combat the problem. Under her leadership, Italy has struck deals with African nations like Tunisia, Libya, and Egypt to block migrant departures and prevent human smuggling networks from profiting off vulnerable individuals. These measures have led to a significant drop in the number of migrants arriving by boat, down by 60% in the first half of this year compared to 2023. For Starmer, who has seen over 22,000 migrants attempt to cross the English Channel this year, Italy's approach offers potential solutions. The perilous journey across the Channel has claimed several lives, including 8 migrants who died just last week when their overcrowded boat capsized off the coast of France. The issue has become a pressing concern for the UK, and Starmer sees Italy's success as a model worth studying. While the two leaders come from vastly different political backgrounds, Starmer from the centre-left and Meloni from the far-right, migration has proven to be a unifying issue. The Labour leader is particularly interested in Italy's deal with Albania, which allows male migrants to be transferred there while their asylum claims are processed. This model has helped ease the burden on Italy's overcrowded asylum system, and Starmer believes it could be adapted for the UK. Such an approach could replace the now-scrapped Conservative government's controversial Rwanda deportation plan. Before departing for Rome, Starmer emphasised the need for a new approach to migration. "We are entering a new era of international enforcement to dismantle these networks, protect our shores, and bring order to the asylum system," Starmer said in a statement. This marks a departure from the previous Conservative government's strategies, which he dismissed as ineffective and expensive gimmicks. The Rwanda deportation plan, a key policy under Boris Johnson's administration, was struck down by the courts and criticised widely as unethical and impractical. In contrast, Starmer is pushing for a more coordinated effort that involves close cooperation with European countries. As part of this strategy, he has appointed Martin Hewitt, the former head of Britain's National Police Chiefs Council, as the UK's new border security commander. Hewitt, who accompanied Starmer on his visit to Italy, will work with European law enforcement agencies to target the international people smuggling networks that profit off the desperation of migrants. Starmer's decision to collaborate with Meloni's government is seen as a pragmatic move, even if it has drawn criticism from within his own party. Some Labour members, particularly on the left, have expressed concern over Meloni's far-right policies, arguing that her approach to migration risks human rights violations. Labour MP Kim Johnson went so far as to label Meloni's tactics a blueprint for abuse, criticising Starmer for working with a government that has been accused of fostering xenophobia. Despite these criticisms, Starmer remains resolute in his mission to address what he sees as the urgent need to reform the UK's asylum system and regain control of the country's borders. Beyond migration, Starmer's visit to Rome also encompassed discussions on broader international issues, particularly the ongoing war in Ukraine. Italy currently holds the presidency of the G7, and Meloni has been a strong supporter of Ukraine's efforts to resist Russian aggression despite her far-right political stance. This alignment on Ukraine presents another area where Starmer and Meloni find common ground. The conflict in Ukraine has wide-reaching implications, not only in terms of security, but also migration. The war has displaced millions of people, contributing to Europe's broader refugee crisis. Both Starmer and Meloni understand the interconnectedness of these issues, and they reaffirmed their commitment to supporting Ukraine during their talks. Starmer's focus on Ukraine follows his recent trip to Washington, where he met with US President Joe Biden to discuss military support for Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been urging his Western allies to provide more advanced weapons, including long-range missiles, to target Russian military infrastructure. While the US has maintained its policy of limiting the use of these weapons to Ukrainian territory, the broader international debate over military aid is one that both Starmer and Meloni are closely watching. Starmer's commitment to international cooperation, particularly in areas of security and humanitarian crises, underscores his broader foreign policy strategy. He has positioned the UK as a key ally of Ukraine, and his discussions with Meloni on this front serve to strengthen that stance. However, as winter approaches and Russia escalates its attacks on Ukraine's infrastructure, the pressure is mounting on leaders like Starmer and Meloni to provide even more support. Starmer's trip to Italy is just one part of his larger effort to rebuild relationships with European neighbours after the UK's acrimonious exit from the European Union. In recent months, he has made visits to Paris, Berlin and Dublin as part of his diplomatic tour to mend the frayed ties between the UK and the EU. Although Starmer has ruled out rejoining the EU, he has been clear about his desire to create a closer partnership with European nations, particularly on security, trade and migration. His meeting with Meloni represents a pragmatic step in that direction. The UK may no longer be part of the EU, but Starmer's actions demonstrate his belief that cooperation with Europe is essential to tackling shared challenges like migration and global security. Italy's right-wing government, under Meloni's leadership, may not seem like a natural partner for the UK's Labour government. However, the need for practical solutions to migration has transcended political ideologies, pushing these two leaders into an unexpected alliance. Starmer's willingness to engage with European leaders, regardless of their political leanings, signals his focus on results, rather than ideological purity. As Starmer returns from Rome, the UK public will be watching closely to see how his new approach to migration unfolds. Replicating Italy's successes may not be straightforward, especially given the UK's unique geographical and political challenges. However, Starmer's willingness to work with countries like Italy shows that he is serious about tackling the issue. One of the key questions moving forward is whether Starmer can balance the need for strict border controls with humane treatment for asylum seekers. Italy's policies have been criticised by refugee groups, who argue that the country's crackdown on migration has led to harsh conditions for those seeking refuge. Starmer will need to navigate these concerns carefully if he hopes to implement a system that is both effective and ethical. Unlike the Conservative Party's Rwanda plan, which was heavily criticised for its lack of practicality, Starmer's strategy aims to take a more measured approach. By focusing on international cooperation and targeted enforcement, he hopes to restore order to the UK's asylum system without resorting to the extreme measures that have been proposed in the past. Keir Starmer's visit to Rome marks an important moment in his premiership. By reaching across the political aisle and working with Giorgia Meloni, he has shown a willingness to prioritise practical solutions over ideological differences. The issues of migration, security, and international relations are deeply interconnected, and Starmer's efforts to address these challenges on a global scale could have far-reaching implications for the UK. What are your thoughts on Starmer's approach? Is it the right move to collaborate with a leader like Meloni, or could this partnership risk alienating key voters at home? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this developing story. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more UK and international news coverage.